While joining us virtually to make sense of these stories is Honorable Tokwe Abdul Rasak Balogun, public affairs commentator and AA governorship candidate in 2023 general election. Good afternoon, sir. Good to have you on the Midday News.
Good afternoon, Voice of the People, the TV.
Thank
Good
you so
afternoon.
much for joining me on the Midday News today.
You're most welcome.
So let's look at the crisis in the Social Democratic Party. The chairman, it was earlier announced that he was suspended, but here he is refuting the claim that he is not suspended, but it's actually stories from mischief makers. So among the two parties, who are we going to believe? Who will Nigerians believe? What do you make of the statement?
Well, being a politician, I think it is not something that is strange to have factions in political parties. And based on that, there will be claims and counterclaims to actually establish who is in control of the party structures. But the part we should be looking at is whom does the INEC recognizes, and that is where we should be establishing the truth from.
Hmm.
So all those things, whether anybody is suspended, because I've been a participant in Nigerian democratic parties for more than 2 decades, and I've seen something of this scenario happen. And even my own former political party, Action Alliance, is still having such issues as at today, where we have two parallel structures claiming leadership of the party, one going to court, presenting court judgment that they have been given the right to be in charge, another one bringing another purported court judgment. But at the end of the day, you are to align with whomsoever INEC recognizes, because that is the only structure that will be able to present candidates for any election purpose. So the stability or the stabilization of political party is something that is not uncommon. In fact, almost all the leading parties have something related to this. And don't forget, SDP was brought into the spotlight recently through these coalition talks that were going um, around. And at the end of the day, we have people now having their searchlights on SDP, what is in there and what are the potentials they have. So you may not be surprised that some people are trying to destabilize them because of some other interests.
All right, thank you so
Who
much,
knows?
Honorable Balogun. But in these two parties, who do you think, or which of the parties do you think INEC recognizes right now in the
So as of
SDP?
today, it is this, the Shehu Gabam led executive that
Okay.
is still at the ends of affair.
Mm.
And as of today, that is whom any serious politician is going to be dealing with until the other faction is able to submerge them either through court process or what have you, or they should go through the official convention where they vote him out or decline personal non-grata and the likes. So the main thing is whomsoever INEC, because INEC has a legal department that is in charge of political parties' internal wranglings. They will study whatever anybody is bringing. And that is why sometimes when you look at the candidature of people too, it is whomsoever INEC recognizes as the candidate that is going to be going to the elections, into the elections to be in on the ballot. So as of today, if you go to INEC website, it is Shehu Gabam that is still there,
Still the
and
leader
he still
of the
has
party.
yeah, so he still has all rights to claim leadership as of today. And whatever the public secretary who first is saying may not stand the test of time and may stand the test of time depending on what the political future hold for him and his team. Because in every political party, there's always a divided house that appears united for every
Thank,
political party.
all right, thank you so much, Honorable. You mentioned earlier that there are lots of crises in especially opposition political parties these days. You cited your party as an example. Some people or some parties have fingered the ruling APC to be the reason for crisis in opposition parties. Do you share the same thoughts?
Well, there's nothing wrong with the opposition, sorry, the ruling party wants the home of the opposition party to be unsettled. They are in contest, they are in competition, consistent competition. And it is politics. And in politics, what matters at the end of the day is for you to be able to gather enough votes for your candidates and to be declared winner and continue to be perpetuated in power. So any disability that happens in the opposition party is a win for the ruling party, and that is why any serious opposition we always look at the bigger picture rather than their internal wrangling. So they should always fish out those that are being sponsored. In fact, there is nowhere this thing does not happen all over the world, and this is why it is called politics, and politicking is part of it. So you cannot be so bold to say, okay, they are doing it, because all these activities are being masked. They are masked activities, and whatever you see out there, even the person that may even be claiming the champion of that political party may even be working for the ruling party. Who knows? These are things that happen. You can't take some things away for politics. In politics, we have people that are on espionage to other political parties so that they can always, so it's like a technical war that is going to be won eventually on the day of election, but that are fought before the day of election and that are strategically planned ahead of any general election. So whatever we are seeing today might not be out of knowledge of the ruling party. And that is the same thing you are seeing. Okay, look at PDP as a case study. We can see that too. In PDP, we have a minister, a very, very prominent minister that is working
For the
with the ruling
opposition party.
and he is an opposition. So how do you explain that he's not going to be holding his
And
party
he
down
has never been sanctioned for that, for anti-party activities so far.
and whenever there is an imbroglio amongst them, you see it pitching his tent with some people. And you see the issue of their secretary, the national secretary, you can see what is happening to.
Yes.
So the people that are still with the party 100%, that have not been obnobbing, at least in the open, with the ruling party, are claiming that the Ayahu is no more their national secretary. The person that is publicly acknowledged as part of the ruling party government is claiming otherwise, and he has his own team. So this is something that you see happens in politics, but at the end of the day, the people that are at the core of any party will determine whatever interest they want to pursue. If their interest is to actually win, they can always fight it out and strategically excuse those that are not going to make them achieve their primary interest of coming together. You know, it's a political party, people come together to achieve a common goal. So that is it.
All right, we'll keep our eyes on that. Thank you so much, Honorable Tope. But let's talk about constitutional review now. The National Assembly has scheduled a nationwide public hearing that will come up on July 4th and 5th. And they're saying that the members or Nigerians will be part of this constitutional review across the 6 geopolitical zones. And they are going to propose, be inclined with these. But they have been reviewing constitutions for so long, since 1999. We'll have reviews of constitution. But some Nigerians are asking for a total trashing of this constitution and getting a new constitution, because this constitution started from the military, it stemmed out from the military era. Do you share the same thoughts of getting a total new constitution, or do you still prefer the constant reviewing of the 1999 constitution?
Well, if you want to be looking at it from the democratic point of view, you have to have a total overhaul of the present constitution. Because the constitution that is talking about we, the people of Nigeria, must actually be representing we, the people of Nigeria, and not the few people that actually drafted whatever we have now. But then there are some things you ask for that might not be plausible. They might not be plausible. Looking at the Herculean task that it involves, that means if they are going to be having an overhaul, there must be, even this present constitution must have a proposal that will launch it for coming into being, coming into existence. So you cannot just bring something from nowhere. What is the law that is going to be backing up the need for a total overhaul of the constitution? So at the end of the day, what we still be having will be technically a review of what we are having presently. I hope you got that.
Mm.
So you cannot have a new constitution by itself. There must be a bill sponsored here and there. So it must still be a review of whatever we are having. When you talk about review does not mean you must keep everything in it in the present constitution. And review does not mean you must throw away everything in the present constitution. A review means that you are going to start from the beginning to the end, add and delete. Then you keep whatever you have been able to. A constitutional review is something that looks like a permanent uh, deed that you have to continue to do as human being. You have to review laws based on realities, based on present. If you look at those, some of those laws, they are obsolete. Even let's forget about the parts that are not making us be able to have a functional state as of today. Let's look at some laws that are criminally because let me say the law that has to do with criminality. Some of the punitive measures that are stated there, they are obsolete. There are things that does not really make sense. If somebody does something as of today and they are still giving him a punitive measure that makes him look like a free person. So I think when you talk about review, it's something that should be welcome, but in what manner? And that is where the problem lies. In what manners? And that is why we have had conferences in the past where the different interests in Nigeria have been brought together, the religious interest, the tribal interest, the social related interest, and the likes. We have people representing different interest groups at some time. But at the end of the day, after agreeing among themselves, there is no law that was promulgated to actually establish it and became a total waste of Nigerian resources.
So are you
So
looking
whatever we are
forward?
going to,
You're saying that
yeah.
this constitution review that would happen on 4th and 5th July is going to be a waste of time like before?
Yes, like every other one that has been held
Wow.
in the past. It's not the first time I've participated in public hearings. But I remember the one we went to at, I think, Airport Hotel or there about some years back. So it was just rowdy, very, very rowdy. And people were there. Because the funny thing is, you are still asking people that have interest in more than one item all through the geopolitical zone. You are talking about 6 states in the case of Southwest, where I belong, to come together and gather for how many hours? And you are giving us just 2 days. So these are things I've experienced it firsthand. So that I've participated in, and I'm telling you that it's just going to be another. I don't know the adjective that fits what we are going to be doing. But then I don't think we are going to be making any sense of anything that will be coming out of
All right.
that review, or let me say public hearing. So that's not how it should be done for it to be effective. And if you are going to have something that will be effective, I think some conferences have been done in the past. They should go back to the report, or I don't want to advise that they have another conference. They should go back to those reports and let us review those reports one after the other. And at the end of the day, we have the brand new constitution that will work partially, because constitution is to be reviewed. That is the law. You have to review constitution, but you must have time bounds when you are going to be reviewing your constitution. Just like the curriculum of any school will be reviewed based on a particular schedule. So that is it. For me, it is just one of those official things for record purpose.
All right. Thank you
You are
so
not,
much, Honorable Tokwe. But I wonder why the government, keep having this series of constitution reviews when it's not going to make any difference. That should be like a waste of fund. I hope they listen to what you're saying. But I'd like us to talk about insecurity now, wherever in Nigeria, especially the northern part of the country. Some armed bandits and Nigerian soldiers lost their lives during coordinated attacks on military operating bases, parts of Kaduna and Niger states. Also, over 100 people have been killed in Zamfara state, and this is due to George Bello's attack in Zamfara state. Over 20 military men lost their lives also in Zamfara state. So insecurity has been a problem in Nigeria, and it seems like it's a Herculean task to curb this menace. How do we go from here? What are the ways that the government could, foster to enable them curb insecurity in Nigeria? You have any thoughts to share on that?
For me, I think the issue of insecurity in Nigeria has to do with those that are having sinister interests in dividing this country or protecting some other things that are of interest to them. It is not something that nobody just want to kill another person. Nobody just want to get killed for no reason. So the main challenge has always been what is the interest of the people that are on killing spree. And if you are not addressing this interest of people that are on killing spree, then we'll continue to have the current decimal in division. So whatever we are talking about now, they always come back to do worse. Because look at it, at the end of the day, there was a time the top echelon of Nigeria Army said something about people from the international community sponsoring those that are attacking Nigeria. As at some few days ago, he still said something like the spillover from neighboring countries are what we are experiencing as bandits today. And he proposed that we have a wall throughout our borders that can shield us.
The army chief mentioned that.
Yes, yeah. you can't take away some realities. But if you are trying to patch security matters, it will always come back to haunt you. It's just like you living in your own house. They are telling you put CCTV camera. At the end of the day, you still have to employ this. You still have to put your gates locked and the like. And you are taking any of the steps for granted. But by the time the consequences happen, you will know the importance of every step that you have missed.
So do you think, are you also suggesting fencing our borders as broad as our borders are? Would that help in curbing insecurity?
See, yeah, you know, when you have a restricted area, it is better monitored than an open area. Even in the past, people that have lived far before us, they have gates across their lands, their borderlands. Such that at the end of the day, nobody comes into that gate without having a valid authentication, authenticity, that the person will be authorized. That okay, you can pass through our gate.
Do we also have the financial capability as a country right now to do that?
The main challenge we have always faced is this challenge of willpower. It is not the challenge of having or not having. It is challenge of willpower. See, when we talk about willpower, we are talking about people that are ready to sacrifice and that are ready to actually achieve a goal. It's not about something that becomes, you are going to be selfless when you want to implement some things. Are you telling me those that are donating money for General Muhammadu Buhari, Babangida, during his book launch, are not also fearful of the security situation of Nigeria? Like so many people that are wasting money doing frivolities, they want a better security. So many people that are in the diaspora today, they are not comfortable living outside their own country. But let me tell you, one of the major reasons outside the economy, the economic factor is even well affected because of insecurity. Many of people that are living offshore want to come back. They want to come back to Nigeria, and they are going to be ready to finance something that will make Nigeria a bit, at least a better secured. Let me say a bit secured. It's better secured than what we have presently. People are running away from where they are not secure. Nobody lives where there is insecurity. As I am now, if I hear there is a chaos outside, I will abandon what I'm doing now and pick to my in. I will run. And where am I running to? I'm running to another location that have a resemblance of peace. And that is why there is nothing that is too extraordinary in saying we want to do it. And people are going to volunteer. If you are telling us, okay, you have taken away the subsidy money from some few people that are enjoying it, even though Nigerians back then were enjoying part of the subsidy, fine, some people are taking a larger chunk and enjoying it. Generally, Nigerians too are enjoying it. Now, you not took away everything from everybody. You took away from those people that you call people that are embezzling the subsidy. You took away from a common Nigeria that we must sacrifice at all costs. Now, are you telling us we are not going to be ready to sacrifice all those money to go and build our security architecture to be a better one? So that at the end of the day, people can go to their farms.
So
People
in
cannot just
essence, you're saying that all hands must be on deck to make sure our borders are secured.
Security is everybody's interest because nobody's interest is going to be covered without security. In the sake of insecurity, everybody is a potential victim. Everybody is a potential victim. Somebody sleeps in his house and before you know it, he got killed. Somebody said he ran away with one of his children. How about the wife and other children? They lost their lives because they couldn't run or they couldn't get it right when those people attacked them. And this issue of insecurity is something that should be gradual, but must be directional. It must be directional. We must see that you are making progress that is not going to. Okay, look at Toji Bello. You know how many times the news have brought it to us that Toji Bello has been killed,
yes,
he has been killed, his
and he
spine
keeps resurfacing.
He has been decimated, he has been decimated.
And you see him resurface again.
And he's coming back with a more brutal force. Every time he comes back more brutal than his previous identity. So these are things that we cannot shy away from. At the end of the day, when we have them, everybody locked up, then we know the next stage to go. Today, when you have everybody locked up in a room and somebody is trying to terrorize another person, definitely you will know who is terrorizing who and you will not have an escape route easily. But when you are in an open field, you attack, you run, nobody sees him again. When everybody comes, like, what happened? What happened? They have not seen the attacker. In fact, he may even mix up with us and continue to join us like sympathizer. We will not be able to detect who is doing what. And why are those ammunitions coming in freely? Because the land borders are just too porous. So these are things we cannot take away from the chief of army staff that raised the idea. But then, look at what we are spending money on. A cultural review, like I said, that will do. At the end of the day, to just be like, you just want to mark it on paper.
All right, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and reactions with us, Honorable Chokwe Abdul Rasak Balogun. We sincerely appreciate your presence today on the News. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much.
Honorable Rasak Balogun is a public affairs commentator and the AA governorship candidate in the 2023 general elections. We'll go on a short break and return with the rest of the news. Just stay tuned.